tech stuff that was going wrong. The guys just continued, and they did a fantastic job, didn't they? Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant. Glenn, where are you? Are you okay? Awesome. As long as you're okay. Well, it's so great to see you. So tonight, we are continuing where we were, really from where we were last week. And last week, as you know, I spoke on butterflies. It was breaking out into a new season, maybe a new time for someone. And there was a whole load of different attributes and things that I looked at. If you really want to look back or know what I said, please go back onto our Facebook page or YouTube channel. You'll see all what you need to see, and maybe you can catch up from where we were last week. This week, I'm going to continue that theme purely because, again, I've been talking to Rob. And as I was talking to Rob this week, so I said, so Rob, have you got any pearls of wisdom for me this week? Rob said, yeah, I have. I said, what's your pearls of wisdom? He said, ants. I said, Rob, come on, give me a bit more than that. He said, no, that's it, ants. I said, okay, right, great. I'm going to work with ants then, am I? He said, yeah, absolutely. He said, I've just looked forward to your preach on Saturday. I said, thanks, Rob. So all this week I was thinking, Lord, what are you doing? I'm talking about ants? How can it possibly be the case? I've just spoken. So last week it was about butterflies and how butterflies just, of course, they start off in eggs, then they move to caterpillars, then they move to butterflies, etc. And this process that people go through is just, that those creatures go through is just amazing. But this week, there's less knowledge about ants. And I've had to do a serious amount of digging to find out about it. And of course, the Bible read doesn't talk a huge amount about ants. At first, I was thinking, Rob, you're having me on. Because I've got to be honest, I've never preached on ants in my life. And going through this, I was thinking, well, how am I going to pull this out of the bag? And where is this going to look from? And tonight, I believe this, guys, wholeheartedly. We are stronger together. So if you like to write notes and like to take sermon titles, my sermon for tonight is Stronger Together. Because I believe that when God wants us to flourish and we break out of the mold that we were once in, and all of a sudden we're on this journey that we've flowered, we're blossoming, and we're like butterflies flying across, yet equally, I believe that we can take some huge amounts of knowledge from the ant colonies of what they look like and where they go and what they do. See, they're not just a creature that stays in isolation, but yet they have so many amazing attributes, and we're going to be looking at those tonight. And right from the outset, I want to say I believe that this is a word in season for us as a church. Because I don't believe that we're called to be people alone. I don't believe that for one moment. I believe we're called to be in unity with others. I believe wholeheartedly we're called to have husbands and wives. I believe that we should be in partnership. And right from the outset, it says in the Bible, 2 is better than 1. 2 is better than 1. Mainly because if God's in the mix, you've got it all sorted. But apart from that, talking to yourself all the time is never going to be a good thing. So, I'm going to read a little statement for you, and you can have a little chuckle to this for yourself if you want to. Or you might go, Pete, this is well over my head. But here we go. A superorganism refers to a complex system composed of multiple organisms working together in a highly integrated and coordinated manner, often to achieve common goals or functions. These organisms typically of the same species calibrating to form a cohesive unit that functions as a single entity. Superorganisms are commonly observed in social insects such as ants, bees, and termites, where individual members perform specialized roles that contribute to the overall success and survival of the colony. This concept highlights the synergy and the interdependence among the organisms within the collective structure, emphasizing emergent properties that arise from their interactions. What an awesome statement. They work together. But for me to put some meat on the bones tonight, otherwise I'm going to go into a science lesson, we're going to be looking at Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 to 8. It says this: "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provision in summer and gathers its food for harvest." Amen. That's possibly the shortest Bible verse that I've possibly done a sermon preach on. I'm just going to read it again. Proverbs 6, verse 6 to 8 says this: "Go to the ant." So what they're saying there is, look at the ant. Look at what the ant is and what it does. Go to the ant. You sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. In other words, get up. Get up. Stop sleeping. Stop being I'm just trying to think. I've got in my mind, I've got a picture of Mark from a few weeks ago pressing the sleep button of the alarm clock, going just another 5 more minutes, just another 9 more minutes. And you keep on resetting that because you want to stay there for a bit longer. Yet God's saying, get up. There's so much to do. So it says, get up, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provision in summer and gathers its food at harvest. I'm going to go through a series of points tonight, and I'm really looking forward to doing these. Ants, number one, ants are driven by a purpose. By purpose, I mean having a clear long-term objective or goal which shapes everything that you do. For example, one ant's sole description is to find food for the colony. This is their purpose and their input of their time and energy into this. Nothing that they do is for themselves, it's for others. It's for others. As a church, as a group of believers, as Christians, everything that we do should not be about me and I, but should be about us and Him. Collectively, we should be working together to support one another, to build one another up, to motivate one another. In Jeremiah 29 says this: "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, plans not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God is really clear about He has a plan for us and for our lives. Therefore, your life is not your own because it was bought with a price. And when you look and you're looking at what you should be doing next, where you should be going, what road you should be turning, we should be looking at how can we support others. How should we support others? Did you know that for the best business models around, for the best entrepreneurs that there are, and there are a fair few of them around the world, their common goal is this: it's not how much money can I make, but it's what difference I can have an impact to make. And what difference I can make will be whatever that is. But the byproduct is financial gain. If you look at, there's a whole host of various entrepreneurs around the world that are financially secure. That's the best way of saying it. There's a company that possibly every one of us knows, and I'm not going to say the name of the company, but their slogan is from A to Z. And there's a little smile in the middle. There's people going, who's that? You can do some digging at home. From A to Z, there's a smile in the middle. As you look at that person did not have an idea of how much money can I make. That person went, I can see an area where there's weakness and I can change how things are run and make things easier. I believe this wholeheartedly, that God has given us all visions, dreams that we should be using and walking out. Every one of us. Every one of us has a driven purpose in life. Every one of us. And your purpose is not to sit down and to keep your cozy bum warm. Your purpose is to go and to make a difference. Even in the Bible it says, go out into all the world. It does not say only the pastor shall go out into all the world and preach the good news, the gospel. It says every one of us should go out into the world and should speak the good news. And I love that every one of us has a plan and has a purpose. God made you for a purpose. If you are unsure of this purpose in life, talk to God. Read the Bible continuously. And I guarantee you, He will reveal to you something very, very special. If you don't know Jesus tonight, and you don't know this person I'm talking about, I guarantee you, if you're looking at, for what's the plans for my life, what's the purpose of my life, why am I even on this planet, why? There's a whole host of things that you can have. I guarantee you, God will give you the answer. Number 2, ants work as part of a team. Ants are team workers and work together in order to achieve something great. Likewise, in order for you to achieve something substantial in life, you must align yourself with others who can help you and propel you to another level. You will not be able to achieve the goals in life that you want to achieve if you plug yourself into someone that consistently pulls you down. You will not get it. If you want to be the best that you can be, you need to set your goals higher, surround yourself with people that are better than you, and learn off them as much as you can. That's the way that you will grow and the way that you will develop. That's the way that you will work as part of a team. There's a real popular saying that no man is an island. And this is confirmed in the Bible. Hebrews 10, verse 24 to 25 says this. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encourage one another. And all the more as you see the day approaching. Every day is a new opportunity to say to someone, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. I'm really proud of what you've done. I'm really proud of who you've become. I'm really proud of the journey that you've been on and what that looks like. I believe that God puts us all into the right place at the right time. And we have a choice to make. And those choices are we going to thrive or are we going to survive? And when God is at the center of your life, I guarantee you, you will thrive. When you start to argue and to contest His will for your life, there will be this continuation of argument that in the end will hurt you and me. I do not know best. You do not know best. He knows best. So when we say, God, I need you to guide me. Oh, by the way, I just want to hold on to the reins. I trust you, but I want to be on my terms, and I like my weeks to flow in this direction. So do me a favor. I really do want you to move in my life, and I want to be guided by you, but I've got a few restrictions. That's not how God works. God wants all of you and not just a part of you. All of you. Be sown in. Jump in with both feet. Don't put your foot half in the water. I watched a funny thing today. There was, as I was scrolling on a social media platform, there was, of course, it's nice weather, and there was a little short reel of a lady walking a dog. On my reels, I've got lots of dog things going on, okay? You can see what I watch. So as there was this lady, she was thinking that she was being so polite and kind, and she had a dog with her. And this dog, it was a really warm day, so she decided to put her dog by this pool. And the dog was having a drink, and she was just leaning over the water, looking in. I don't know what she was really looking at, but she was looking into the pool. And the dog just disappeared, and the next thing you saw was that the dog had run behind and had given her a good shunt. And she had gone head first, and the dog was behind looking at her from the outside of the pool. And sometimes we need to jump in it completely, to be immersed in it, rather than saying you're going to get wet. Because we're really good at telling people, if you come, it's amazing, it's really great. I want to get involved, it's awesome. But yet, you don't really jump in yourself. You see? We're really good at telling others. But what about ourselves? What about us? What about our commitment to God? What about our commitment to one another? What does that look like? What does that journey even look like? Have we jumped in together, or are we doing things separately? See, you can build something really strong and stable when everyone does it. But you can't when just the one or the two do it. And he's 80 on the sidelines. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 5 to 9 says this. After all, who is Apollos? Who is Paul? We are only God's servants through whom you believe the good news. Each of us did the work of the Lord gave us. I planted the seed in your heart, and Apollos watered it, but it was God who made it grow. It is not important who does the planting or who does the watering. What is important is that God makes the seed grow. The one who plants and the one who waters work together with the same purpose, and both will be rewarded for their own hard work. For we are both God's workers, and we are God's, and you are God's field. You are God's building. Wow, brilliant. All of us work together to do the work of God. Kingdom bound, kingdom principled. And when, I just want to drop a few things. When churches try to stay separate from other churches because they believe that it's their cluster or their group, there is no kingdom mentality in that. Yet when we encourage one another to spend time with one another and we build one another up, regardless of your beliefs, But the common belief is God. The common belief is Jesus. The common belief is allowing to know, that you know, that I know, that we know that Jesus died, rose again, saved us from our sin. Guys, there are some fundamentals that we should never move from. But yet, please, 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 hold on to the fundamentals, but just get rid of the secondaries. If someone from another church says to you, oh, would you mind coming to help us out? Genuinely, please go. Please help them out. I haven't got any problems. I often have people say to me, and I do have ministers regularly contact me saying, Pete, just so you know, we've had someone from your church come and visit. I said, fantastic. He said, you okay? I went, yeah, awesome. Great stuff. And I said, did you get him do anything? He went, oh, no. I said, oh, next time, get him do something. Because it's really important that together we do stuff. Stronger together. This is not about, look at my badge or my title or what I do. This is about a kingdom principle that we together one day will be in heaven worshiping together. So for goodness sake, get on with each other right now down here. And put aside some theological stuff, but just worship Jesus. And allow him to be the main guide within our lives. And my goodness, the church of Jesus Christ will erupt. Because in the ant world, everyone sticks together. They build together and they don't run away. And they certainly don't shy away from hard work. Number 3. Okay. Oh, I'm going to speak to myself here. Ants have time to rest and time to work. Ants deliberately take time to rest and recuperate. They take time deliberately to get themselves to a place where they have sufficient rest to be able to go and do what they need to do. They do not keep on going 24/7. Now, you may look at an ant colony and think, wow, they've done an awful lot. Or maybe you think, where's my kettle of warm water? But the reality is they work together to build what they're building. And each of them has something in mind of what they need to do. Notice this, they're not being told of what to do. But yet, it's instinctively in them that they need to go and do whatever they do. Likewise, I believe this. I believe that God has given us times and seasons for us to go and to do what we're called to do. I've got ants have to work with the natural seasons. So in the summer they gather food, and in the winter they hibernate. They conserve energy because of the lack of food. So in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 and 2, it says this: for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, and a time to plant and a time to harvest. And I believe right now that we are in a specific moment in time for us. In time. And I believe we have choices to make of what are we going to learn from others on this journey. Are we going to gather the right people to be on the journey with us? When I mean us, I mean us. Are we going to gather the right people to be on a journey? And we're going to get ready to step out into something bold and something new. Different seasons have different challenges. And there's seasons that I'm in. Listen, in work right now, there's a season next door whereby I may as well just shut the doors because no one comes. Because it's sunny. But I'm really, really, really certain that in Wales, the rain will come. And I know that biblically, God says the rain seasons will come. And when the rain seasons come, there is shoots of newness that appear. And when those shoots of newness appear, it gives each and every one of us an opportunity for growth. Every one of us has an opportunity for growth. And it's only in the stagnant and the times and seasons that feel so desolate, yet you call on other people to come alongside and to support. And when those seasons, those new rain seasons come, all of a sudden, it's not just you flourishing, but everyone else around you. Because as a team, you're growing. Are you with me? You with me? Awesome. Okay, number 4. I've got a few more to go, and then I'm going to be wrapping up. Okay, number 4. I knew why I like ants. Number 4. Ants think big. Okay. So in the animal insect kingdom, ants can seem like one of the most insignificant insects on this planet because they are so small in size. But the colonies they build and their contribution to the animal kingdom is extremely significant and is extremely important. This should assure you and me that you are extremely important and valuable as a part in this world. That God has created. He is inbuilt within us a greatness to go and walk out our faith in a way that should be thinking big. I guarantee you. See, when God says go out into all the world, he did not say, please be stuck in Abertillery, please be stuck in Newbridge, please be stuck in Ebervale, please be stuck in Cwmbran, please be stuck in Caerphilly. He is not saying any of those things. He's saying go out into all the world and to preach the good news, the gospel. The gospel. Go and preach it. Think big. Enlarge your tent. Stretch out your tent pegs. Move them. God, how are you going to enlarge my territory? How are you going to enlarge my thinking, my thought process? How can I just be engaging in conversations that I can encourage others to even get to church? How can I do that? Maybe for some of us, we need to drop a few fences, as I said last week. Drop a few of the things that hold us back. But my goodness, if we're prepared to think big, you will have no limits. And removing limits and limitations, I can tell you, is extremely liberating. Yeah, don't worry about it. If you shift your mindset to don't worry, God's in control. I'm not in control. All of a sudden, you shift all of your stuff off you onto him. His shoulders are far bigger than yours. And he will be able to carry far much more than you can ever hope or even think or dream of. Okay. Number 5. Number 5. Ants prepare ahead of time. Ants prepare their food in summer because they know what will come. They know the seasons that they're in, and they know what the future is going to look like in the season ahead. And I think for some of us in the journey that we're on, we are isolating ourselves in the place that we're in. And I believe that God wants us to think beyond the natural. Have you ever asked God, would you just enlarge my thought process? God, would you just take me on a different journey? Without restrictions? God, I'm prepared to go where you want me to go. That song, I'll go where you want me to go, I'll do what you want me to do. What does that really look like? What does that look like for us, for you? And I think for some of us, and for so many of us, we hold back our own restrictions because we have a preconceived idea about what we want to do, what other people even think of us. I can't possibly do that because that's not what other people expect me to do. I don't care. what other people expect you to do. What I do know is you need to follow what God is placing in front of you. What God is placing in front of you. I'll never forget, I was working in a factory as an engineer, and the time had come and that I was offered redundancy and various things. And I'll never forget saying to the guys, I want to open up a play center. And they looked at me and went, you what? You're an engineer. That's not who you are. And I said, no, I understand that's not what I have trained to be. That doesn't mean I have to always be that person. We need to be really careful of the badges that we wear, because those badges that we wear, you may think that you're wearing them for the rest of your life. And I'm saying tonight, I don't believe that we should ever wear those badges for the rest of our lives. God is intending us to go through seasons. He's fully intended us to prepare us for those seasons, and he will take us through those trials and tribulations. And I'm saying, guys, if we choose to ignore him, he will take us on a roundabout journey to get you back to the place of where you need to be, to get you on the journey that he wanted you to go on in the very first place. So please just listen to him. Drop the fence, drop the attitude, and say, God, I'm willing to follow you, and I'm willing to serve you. I love this. Number 7 says, ants serve one another. Ants serve one another. Living for ourselves is a lonely existence. Serving people goes one step further. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I contribute positively for your life? How can I support you in an everyday? Hebrews 6 verse 10 says this, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. Isn't that amazing? God sees everything. He sees the journey that we're on. He sees the path that we're on. And he sees when we go out and help someone. As I'm coming into land, this is my final one. With God seeing everything and being everywhere where we can't hide, we can't get away from. My final one is this. Ants care for their fellow ants. Ants care for their fellow ants. This made me chuckle a bit, really, but here we are. Now, that whole meaning of caring is sharing one another's burdens, being supportive, carrying heavy loads. The ants take it to a whole new level. Let me explain what they do. Taking care of each other from one ant to another. Did you know that when a few ants in a colony are infected by any disease, the other ants lick off the infected disease that they carry? This is amazing. Only enough that they themselves can carry the weight of what another's needs are. So that by the time the ants are helped, every one of the other ants have supported the one that was really ill, and therefore everyone around the colony has now helped the one that looked like they were dying. Why? Because they all shared the burden and shared the load to help each other out. I just want to say tonight, guys, I believe this. We are called to support one another, to help one another, and to be there for each other. I am not saying at all, if someone has an illness, please go and lick them. Please don't do that. For one moment. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is this. When we are willing to stand in the gap for someone that needs help and support, you will make a significant difference in their life. When you are willing to come alongside someone and to help someone, and where someone can't do something and they need help and you're there to help them, and you're doing it because you know that God wants you to be that person, I can guarantee you will change their whole world. Let me tell you a true story as I'm coming into land, who really am here. There was a person in our church, and he was going through a particularly tough season. He was quite unwell. And I just said, is there anything I can give you or get you? And in a text. And actually he replied back to me, he said, yes, please, Pete, can you bring me 2 melons? I thought, okay, I can do that. So I went and bought 2 melons and took them over. Some of you may know who I'm talking about. I went and took them over to Chris. And I said, Chris, what do I want 2 melons for? He said, oh, Pete, it's the properties within them. For me and for what I have, they are amazing for me. And I can't get them. I find it hard to, the supermarkets run out of them, and it's a struggle. But you bringing these here today will really, really help me. And I just thought, see, in my mind, I was thinking, 2 melons? That's easy, I can go and pick those up, no problem. For somebody else, it was a real issue. And an issue that they needed to have those to be able to help them on this journey of being healed. You never, ever underestimate the journey that somebody else is on and how they need to have help for them individually. Now, we may go, what? What do you want that for? What do you want to do that for? Yet, for others, if you come alongside, you support, you encourage, and you walk with them, the difference that makes is incredible. So, as I finish with this, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13 says this, and now these things remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. If we work together, we support one another, we build each other, we equip one another, we stand alongside, we walk out with each other, our days will be awesome. What will you do in this coming week ahead? Amen.